Fulvio Testi. Fulvio Testi, August 1593, in Ferrara 28 August 1646, in Modena, was an Italian diplomat and poet who is recognized as one of the main exponents of 17th-century Italian Baroque. He worked in the service of the dukes in Modena, for whom he held high office, such as the governorship of Garfagnana. His poems tackle civic themes in solemn tones, showing Testi's lasting anti-Spanish and, consequently, pro-Savoia political passions. Accused of treason for having tried to set up diplomatic relations with the French court, he was imprisoned and died in jail soon after. One later literary critic wrote, "If he'd been born in a less barbarous age, and had had more time than he did to cultivate his talent, he would doubtless have been our Horace, and perhaps been hotter and more vehement, and more sublime than the Latin man." Life. The son of Giulio and Margherita Camoni, Fulvio studied literature and philosophy with the Jesuits at Modena, and then studied poetry privately at Bologna. His sonnets, circulating in manuscript, had already earned him a certain amount of fame by 1611, before entering the services of the chancellery as a scribe. His first volume of verses, published at Venice in 1613 and dedicated to his patron and Lord Alfonso Roman III d'Este, followed the well-established vein of the Baroque pastoral idyll and courtly mannerist Marinismo. That same year he travelled to Naples and Rome, forming a friendship with Alessandro Tassoni, and returned to Modena in the summer of 1614. In the autumn he married Anna Leni. His rhyme, published in 1617, anticipated by their dedication to Carlo Emanuel, Duke of Savoy, the anti-Spanish octaves they contained, which were composed in 1615 and better known under the title Il Pianto d'Italia, and characterized the injuries being suffered by the Spanish hegemony in Italy to such a degree that the Spanish resident at the Duchy of Testi, having fled the duchy, was pronounced contumacious and exiled. Nevertheless, on receipt of a plea for forgiveness, he was pardoned by Cesare d'Este, 5 February 1619. In the following summer, the Duke of Savoy in question, apprised of the troubles Testi had undergone, enrolled him in the Savoyard order of Santi Maurizio e Lazzaro, while the Duke acknowledged his literary gifts as virtuoso di camera. Henceforth, Testi's career took him on a long series of travels of a diplomatic nature, notably to Vienna, Rome, Venice, and Turin, with the result that in April 1635 he was awarded a feudal demesne that brought him the title of Conte. At the end of that year he was sent as ambassador to the court of Spain, embarking 10 March 1636 at Vado, where he encountered an old acquaintance from Rome, Gabriello Chiabura, his embassy in Madrid, which brought him the Cross of the Order of Santiago, lasted exactly a year, though he would be sent again in 1638. Meanwhile, back in Modena by March 1637, Testi was made the Duke's Secretary of State. In 1640, stifled by court life though he returned in 1642, with which he did was perhaps always considered a parvenu. He asked for, and obtained from Francesco I d'Este the post of governor of Garfagnana. Following further diplomatic missions, he undertook confidential inquiries through the Italian Cardinal Mazarin to be transferred to the court of France. Upon discovery, in January 1646, he was committed to the prison of Modena as a traitor, where, after 7 months' confinement, he died. A hypothesis developed by Girolamo Cherubaschi suggested that Testi's imprisonment was motivated by the resentment of Principe Raimondo Montecaccoli, to whom Testi would have dedicated a far from flattering ode. The poet Ugo Foscolo, absorbing Cherubaschi's thesis, recorded nevertheless that the ode in question, though dedicated to Montecaccoli. Main works: lyric poems. Rhyme: Giuliano Cassiani, Modena, 1617. Poesie lyrique, Naples, 1637. Alasola di Alcina, Modena, 1647. L'Arcinda, Auro la Descendenza de Serenissimi Principi d'Este, Francesco Baba, Venice, 1652. Oper Skelt, Vol. I Poesie Societa Typographica, Modena 1817. Political works. All'Italia all'Inuitissimo. E gloriosissimo Prince Carlo Emanuele Duca di Savoia Turin 1618. Ristretto del Ragione ci la Serenissima Casa d'Est, ha colla Camera Apostolica, con la risposta di Roma, and contrarisposta per parte del Serenissimo di Modena, undated but 1643. Scritti inediti, negri alla pace, Ferrara 1838. La Filippiche e du alter scrittera contro gli Spagnuoli, under the pseudonym Fulvio Savigiano, Fulvio the Savoiard, edited by F. Bartali, Sanzogno, Milan 1902. Letters. Opera Skelt, Vol Roman II Letter Societa Typographica, Modena 1817. Letter inedite in nome del Duca Francesco, I. Francisco Sassateli. Letter inedite in del Memori di Religione di Morale e di Letteratura, Soliani, Modena 1843. pp 49-85 vol. Roman 15 inc 333-346 vol. Roman 16. Quattro letter inedite Conti, Fiennes 1892. Letter 3 vol. 1609-1000, 633, 1634-1637, 1638-1000, 646, edited by M. L. Doglio, Giuseppe Latterza, and Figli, Bari 1967.